What's good, everybody? It's the Clown with Cam Show. NFL Week 15 was the best weekend all year for the NFL. I cannot believe it. I mean, some of the games were insane. For the Las Vegas Raiders beating, like I said, the upset against the New England Patriots. That was a crazy game. But what was even more crazy was my Indianapolis Colts giving up a 33-point lead at halftime, dude. I mean, I don't even know what to say anymore. I'm really shocked still. I'm in disbelief. I'm just trying to figure out how the Indianapolis Colts blow a 33-point lead and only score 3 points in the second half. I'm thinking, what went wrong? You know what went wrong? I don't want to put all the blame on the coach, Coach Jeff Saturday. I just don't. I'm looking at Matt Ryan. He's trash. You know he is. He's trash. He's given up the biggest lead ever in the regular season, and not to mention the biggest lead in Super Bowl history when he was up 28-3 against the Patriots. It's just, I don't know. I don't know if it's bad luck. I don't know. But we do have to give credit to Minnesota Vikings for battling back. I mean, Kirk Cousins snapped off in the second half with 460 yards, 4 touchdowns. He did have 2 interceptions, but it's just one of them things where this is like a momentum thing for Minnesota right now. To come back from 33 down at home against the Colts, and it looked like the Colts were just going to run away with it. But what was the Colts' mistake? It was them becoming too complacent. It was them playing not to lose. It was just saying, hey, you know what? Let's do all the things wrong here. Okay, let's throw the ball on first and second down and not run the ball, waste the clock out, and really just win it. Win the freaking game. I just don't understand. Dalvin Cook snapped off with that huge run and a touchdown for like 60-some yards. That was a huge play. Justin Jefferson, 123 yards and a touchdown. Not to mention KJ Osborne, 157 yards receiving and a touchdown for Minnesota. I mean, snapped off. They went crazy. And I'm trying to think what went wrong, dude, with the Indianapolis Colts. It was a crazy weekend. This was the craziest weekend in NFL. No doubt about it this year in 2022. It was just insane. I'm trying to think, how do the Colts do this, dude? This is it. It's over with. The Colts, I think, look, I even said it months ago. They need to hit the reset button. They not only need a quarterback, they need a whole entire organization, a new organization. Pillhead Jim Irsay's got to sell the organization. I hope, former players like Peyton Manning scoop up and invest in the Indianapolis Colts, because what we have now is really a disaster, dude. I mean, we had Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne. We had so many greats with the Super Bowl. Really, we should have won more than one Super Bowl here in Indianapolis. I think it's crazy. I think it is insane to me. It's a reality check for Colts fans. I mean, we blew a 33-point lead. I don't know, dude. I'm trying to figure out what went wrong. What went wrong? It was just insane to me. But hey, shout out to the Minnesota Vikings getting the job done for battling back. And let me tell you, this is huge for the Minnesota Vikings. You know, the playoffs is near, and coming right now, it's just like, wow, Minnesota Vikings have a lot of momentum coming in. So that's a huge win by Minnesota. What a comeback. Biggest comeback in regular season football history in the NFL. It's crazy. I can't believe it, but huge win by the Minnesota Vikings. My Indianapolis Colts have been done for months now, but this is the nail in the coffin. It's over with. Jonathan Taylor's out for the rest of the season with the ankle injury. That's it for the Colts. And then we got the Baltimore Ravens versus the Cleveland Browns. I picked the Ravens with the upset pick. That was a dumb pick of me, absolutely. I don't know what pick was worse, this one or betting it on the Rams against the Green Bay Packers in Monday Night Football. That was a terrible pick as well. But the Ravens, they didn't get anything flowing. And what we learned in this game is they need Lamar. Lamar needs to come back, 100%, because without Lamar, the Ravens are, one and done in the playoffs if they make it in the wild card, because they're done, dude. And the Browns, it was a decent win. Nick Chubb, 99 yards. Amari Cooper, 58 yards with 4 receptions. And then you got Deshaun Watson, 161 yards and a touchdown. Obviously a better game than his first 2 games. But I just think for the Browns, I mean, they're done as well. But for the Ravens, they need Lamar back. Absolutely. And I think Lamar needs to come back hopefully this weekend coming up. I really, truly hope, because without Lamar, the Ravens, like I said, are a below 500 team. They just really are. They're not going to go anywhere. So they need Lamar back. Coach John Harbaugh understands that. Hopefully Lamar will be back this weekend, but big win by the Cleveland Browns. And then we got the Miami Dolphins versus the Buffalo Bills. I picked the Bills. Definitely Bills money line hit. If you bet the 7, that did not hit. But the Bills, hey, they ended up winning. And shout out to Josh Allen. 4 touchdowns, 304 yards passing, dude. 77 yards rushing. I mean, Josh Allen did everything he could to win this game. And his will and determination really did it. And obviously his run game. The run game, and they were down by 8 points in the fourth quarter, and he broke off for like a 40, 50-yard run. That's what you need. You need some of these plays to win big playoff games, and the Buffalo Bills have it. They have the tenacity. They're playing at home. Tyler Bass with the game-winning field goal as time expired to give them the victory. And I'm looking at Miami. They're on a losing streak right now. 3-game losing streak, and for 234 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jalen Waddle snapped off with 114 yards receiving and a touchdown for Miami. Then you got Tyreek Hill, 9 receptions, 69 yards and a touchdown. But for Miami, my thing is with Miami Dolphins, they have a great offense. I'm just concerned about their defense. I mean, can you guys win big playoff games? Can you make a big game-winning stop? Because what we've noticed here is they can't. They can't do it. So Miami, I think they could be one and done in the playoffs if they make it there. But, huge win by the Buffalo Bills. They're controlling it right now. I think the Buffalo Bills are a scary team coming in the playoffs, even without Von Miller. And I understand losing Von Miller was huge, but overall, I'm telling you right now, that the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen, they could run it deep. And it makes sense why they were preseason favorites to win the Super Bowl. So I think right now, Josh Allen, man, they got something going. Huge win with the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo against Miami in the cold, snowy conditions. This was a gimme pick. This was my lock pick, and I went and I hit. Shout out to the Buffalo Bills. And then we got the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This was another easy pick. I picked the Cincinnati Bengals. I pick against Tom Brady, the GOAT, because, Tampa Bay right now, they're looking terrible. They've only won 6 games all year, yet they're still in first place, dude. They're the weakest division right now in football, no doubt about it. Tom Brady, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. Chris Godwin, 83 yards and a touchdown, but it was all Bengals in the second half, and we don't really see Tom Brady blow leads. They were up 17-3 at halftime, but Joe Burrow turned it up, 200 yards, 4 touchdowns, and an interception. And then you had Jamar Chase, his favorite target, 60 yards and a touchdown. And it was all Cincinnati from there in the second half. They just took over. The cream rises to the top. The better team normally wins, and that's what happened this game. I think if you're Tampa Bay right now, you have, 3 games left, dude? You have to improve. Because if you guys are Tampa Bay and the GOAT Tom Brady and you guys make it in the playoffs, you're probably one and done right now the way you're playing. So something's going to have to click for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or they will be one and done or not even make the playoffs this year, which is a sad story for the GOAT. But I just think, that's what you got to do. But a huge win by the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are going to be an X-Factor team in the playoffs, and I think they can run back and make it to the Super Bowl, which sounds crazy, but they can do it. And it starts with Joe Burrow. Huge win on the road. And then we got the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Chicago Bears. I went Philly. I knew this game would be close. Money line was a smarter play for Philly, and they got it done. Jalen Hurts, 3 touchdowns rushing. He did have 2 interceptions, and he did hurt his throwing shoulder in the third quarter. I think, if you're Philadelphia, yes, you guys are playing against the Dallas Cowboys, but I would rest Jalen Hurts. I would, really sit him out until he's 100%. No need to go back and re-injure his shoulder, which could cause a season-ending injury for the Philadelphia Eagles for their great season they've had. You don't want him to go down again. So I think, they need to move with caution here and say, hey, sit out a game. You can sit out against Dallas, come back next week, after that, whatever. But I just think right now he needs to be 100%. Obviously, Jalen Hurts is going to tell you I'm 100% no matter what. But, it's just a team collective. A.J. Brown snapped off 9 receptions for 181 yards receiving. Dude, they went crazy, dude. They went insane. So shout out to Philly. Even though the Bears, Justin Fields, he had 2 touchdowns, 95 yards rushing. And I just think for Chicago, moving in the future, obviously they're out of the playoffs. They need to surround better players for Justin Fields. They do. And Justin Fields has so much talent, himself as an individual. They need better talent around Justin Fields if the Chicago Bears want to grow and become a playoff contender. But right now, the Philadelphia Eagles are the number 1 team for a reason, and it starts with Jalen Hurts. So I hope he heals his shoulder. Big win by Philly on the road. And then we got the Atlanta Falcons versus the New Orleans Saints. Look, I went Atlanta. I was definitely wrong on this pick. It was all New Orleans Saints. And, Andy Dalton, 151 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. For Atlanta, Tyler Allinger, he snapped off 139 yards rushing and a touchdown. Drake London, 70 yards, and he did have that fumble. But I just think, right now, these two teams are trash, yet they're still in the playoff contention. Obviously with Tampa Bay in that division as well, it's trash right now. It's all trash, but a huge win by the Saints. And I believe they do play Tampa Bay at the end of the year, but trash teams right now. And a huge win by the freaking Detroit Lions, beating the New York Jets in New York. This was a huge win. It was 4th and inches, and it looked like Detroit Lions were going to lose this game. And no, they scored a touchdown on Jared Goff's pass. Jared Goff, man, we got to give him credit. 252 yards passing in a touchdown. This year they've been battling back, man. They really have. St. Brown, 7 receptions, 76 yards. And we saw the Jets battle back too, but they came up short. Even though Zach Wilson did have a solid game, 317 yards passing, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Garrett Wilson, 98 yards receiving. And I think Garrett Wilson, when he caught that last pass, he could have ran it up 5 or 6 more yards to give his kicker a better kick. But I think that was really irrelevant right now because the kicker missed it way left. And I just think, the Lions, man, they are a scary team right now. And if they get in the playoffs, they are definitely an X-Factor team. Who would have thought that, right? Last year I was calling the Giants trash, rubbish. Right now we're talking about, Detroit Lions. Well, I was saying they were trash. Now all of a sudden Detroit, they could make the playoffs, dude. They could really make the playoffs this year, and yet last year they were trash and rubbish. Hey, shout out to Detroit Lions, man. I'm telling you what, I got to give them some respect when respect is due. So a huge win by the Detroit Lions. What a weekend, man. What a freaking weekend. Huge win. And then we got the Pittsburgh Steelers beating the Carolina Panthers. I picked the Panthers in this matchup. I was definitely wrong. It was all Pittsburgh, and it started with Najee Harris, 86 yards rushing and a touchdown. Sam Darnold had an okay game, 225 yards passing and a touchdown. But, for Pittsburgh, this was a big win. Now, is Pittsburgh going to make the playoffs? I mean, I don't think so. It's just been a rough year with Kenny Pickett being hurt. And then you got trash Mitch Trubisky. It's crazy. But a huge win by Pittsburgh. And then we had the craziest game, my upset alert game that hit this weekend was the Dallas Cowboys losing to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I told you guys to go Jacksonville. This was my upset pick, and I love when I hit the upset picks of the week. In Jacksonville, they battle back. Shout out to Trevor Lawrence, 318 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, and 1 pick, dude. And Travis Etienne Jr., 103 yards rushing. Zay Jones, 109 yards receiving, and 3 touchdowns, dude. Zay Jones went crazy for Jacksonville. And not to mention Rashad Jenkins with the pick 6 game winner, man. This was crazy. And I feel bad for Dak because it wasn't Dak's fault. It was the receiver's fault. Went right through his hands, and it landed right in Rashad's hand. And he took it in for the pick 6, and it was over, dude. Just like that in overtime. And I'm looking at Dallas and saying, wow, CeeDee Lamb snapped off 126 yards. Dak had 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, but it's like I said before, when we're talking about the Dallas Cowboys, it's the same story. It's the same ending that we've seen over and over again. They're a good regular season team, but right before the playoffs and when playoffs hit, the big plays catch up with them. And this was one of the defining moments where I'm like, holy cow. And for Jacksonville right now, they can make the playoffs, dude. If they win out and they beat Tennessee the last game of the year, they're in. They're in. They punched the ticket in with Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars. And this is a young, hungry team right now. And I think Jacksonville, dude, they are definitely going to be contenders in the future. And I believed in Trevor Lawrence, even though he had a terrible rookie season, with the coach, Urban Meyer, all that stuff, the outside noise. But right now, this year, the Jacksonville Jaguars are legit, dude. And I love it, dude. And when he picked 6, I was just like looking at Cowboy fans. They didn't say a word. They didn't know what to say. They were all hype at the beginning of the game. And I even told this Dallas Cowboy fans, I said, you guys are going to lose today. He looked at me like, oh, it's crazy. He didn't say a word to me until after the game. And he looked at me and said, what the fuck? What the F is going on? You know what I'm saying? I love it, dude. And I called it. I just felt it. And it's typical Dallas Cowboy fashion. They go out with the pick 6 and they lose the game. They got Philly next week. They're going to get ran through on Philly, and it's going to be a reality check for the Dallas Cowboys. It's going to be make or break this year, and I think if they don't go to the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl, they need to trade Dak Prescott. They do. I don't know what it is. I'm not trying to blame Dak on everything, but it's just like, come on, dude. You know what I'm saying? Even though this loss isn't on Dak, I'll give him that. I just think Dak Prescott needs to prove to us this year that he can win big playoff games, and take the Dallas Cowboys to the Super Bowl. If not this year, when's it going to be? Tony Romo 2.0, but a huge win by the Jacksonville Jaguars. I told you guys to go Jacksonville. I love it, dude. And then we got the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Houston Texans. I went Kansas City, money line for sure. I even said the 14 points was just too iffy to me. And we saw this game go into overtime. And we saw Kansas City really just become lackadaisical. And they weren't really, I feel like their foots weren't on the gas the whole game. And that's why this game went into overtime. But they got the job done. Patrick Mahomes, 336 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Travis Kelce, 105 yards receiving. Even though the Texans quarterback Davis Mills balled out with 2 touchdowns, it just wasn't enough. And it makes sense why the Houston Texans only have 1 win this year. They just can't finish. They can't finish games, and Kansas City can. And, hey, Patrick Mahomes, I'm telling you, dude, come playoff time, it's going to be scary. I can't wait. Huge win by the Kansas City Chiefs. And then we got the Arizona Cardinals versus the Denver Broncos. 2 trash teams, 2 irrelevant teams. Denver won. I went Denver because they were playing at home and I hit. So this game really doesn't mean crap. So both teams are trash. And then we got the New England Patriots versus the Las Vegas Raiders. This was probably the best game all weekend as well. Them and the Dallas Cowboys. This game was crazy. I mean, Las Vegas Raiders, Derek Carr, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. I mean, Devontae Adams had a quiet game. But what was even more crazy is Stevenson snapped off with 172 yards rushing and a touchdown for New England. And what happened at the end of the game is he was breaking off a run. He lateraled it to Jacoby Myers, a receiver for the Patriots. And what did he do? He just had the audacity and the smarts to throw it back like 10, 15 yards to his quarterback, Mac Jones, who was, sitting right there. Mac Jones was over there. He didn't see Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones snatched it, picked it from him, and then he stiff-armed Mac Jones into the ground and ran it in for the touchdown. I don't know what was more stupid. Mac Jones' stiff-arm getting stiff-armed into the dirt like a fucking bitch, or was it freaking Jacoby Myers throwing it 10 to 15 yards in the backfield? Now, I don't know what was more dumb, but both plays just added up and the Patriots lose. And this is kind of going back to history. When Tom Brady had the tuck rule against the Raiders in the playoffs in the snow, and they called it an incomplete pass when Woodson hit him. It just all snapped back to this moment right here where Chandler Jones picked it and ran it in for the touchdown as time expired in the 4th quarter. And it was awesome, dude. It was just like, and I went the Raiders, dude, and how dumb can you be? And Mac Jones, like I said, dude, Mac Jones, he's trash, dude. Bill Belichick, man, his reign is over. The GOAT is gone. He's not a winner anymore without his GOAT, dude. He's just not. I mean, dude, Mac Jones, dude, he got stiffed arm into the ground like a little freaking girl, dude. I was just like, how? Go to make a tackle. Make a hard tackle. It was like Mac Jones was like scared to make a tackle, dude. It's like, oh, I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to get hit sticked. Like, no. Like, just stiff arm me. Like, dude, come on, man up. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Mac Jones, man, dude. I'm not placing the blame on him, obviously, but I'm looking at Jacoby Myers and saying, bro, you might just get cut from the team after this, dude. Like, I understand. You're trying to make a play. You're trying to be the hero of the game, but throwing it 10 to 15 yards backfield, dude? Like, come on, man. This is crazy, but I loved it, dude. Shout out to the Las Vegas Raiders. I told you guys the Las Vegas Raiders. Why? Because the New England Patriots are overrated. They're overrated. The reign is over in New England. The dynasty, the GOAT, Tom Brady left. It's over for New England right now for the next 5 to 10 years. There won't be another Super Bowl in the 5 or 10 years in New England. You can mark my words on it. Huge win by the Raiders. And then we got the Tennessee Titans versus the LA Chargers. I went LA Chargers, and it hit, dude. I love it. Justin Herbert had a decent game, even though he really didn't play well. He didn't play well. He had 313 yards passing, but it was just a quiet night. Austin Eckler, 58 yards rushing and a touchdown. And for Tennessee, like I said, Ryan Tannehill, subpar quarterback. They need to get a new quarterback. That's what Tennessee really needs. And Derrick Henry only 59 yards rushing. And the Titans, man, they're on a 4-game losing streak right now. They're about to blow it. And really, Jacksonville's about to take over that division. And they're going to get in the wild card and win their division, dude. Because the Tennessee Titans are overrated. They are. They're a one-dimensional team. They run it with Derrick Henry. What else can they do? They can't really do much. They can't stop the throw. So, this was an easy pick, too. Shout out to the LA Chargers. What a win. And then we got the New York Giants versus the Washington Commanders. I picked Washington Commanders at 4.5. I thought for sure playing at home. But, give it up to the Giants. They made a goal line stop. Taylor Heineke, 249 yards passing in a touchdown. But they stopped Taylor Heineke at the end of the game, and that's all that mattered. Saquon Barkley, 87 yards rushing and a touchdown. Daniel Jones just did what he had to do, 160 yards passing. That's it. Like I said, the Giants need to get a new quarterback as well. I just think right now in the new era of NFL and the quarterbacks that want to run and stuff, we just don't see that, the top level quarterbacks that we're used to seeing, like the old Tom Brady's, the old Peyton Mannings, Eli Mannings, Kurt Warner's, the legends of the sport like Mike Vick, even though, Mike Vick was a run quarterback, but still you just don't see that skill anymore like we used to, I feel like. I feel like we're lacking the quarterback position, especially with the Giants, man. Like Daniel Jones, you guys think him? Same thing with the Patriots. Mac Jones, you guys think he's going to be a superstar? Like, come on, dude. Like a reality check, but a big win by the Giants on Sunday Night Football. And then we got the LA Rams versus the Green Bay Packers. This was my worst pick all weekend, picking the Rams. Should have never did it, but hats off to Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers, 229 yards passing, a touchdown and a pick. They got the W, but it doesn't really mean anything right now. Yes, they have an outside chance of making the playoffs, the Green Bay Packers, but let's be honest here. What are they going to do? I just think Aaron Rodgers still does not look the same right now. Still kind of pointing that finger, victim mentality. I don't know, dude. I just think right now Green Bay, they're on the outside looking in. So nothing really surprises me with that. So I will say, good win, whatever. I just think right now Green Bay, they got a lot more stuff going on than just, beating the Rams, on Monday Night Football. But definitely the best game all weekend was definitely the Jacksonville Jaguars. The upset pick I telling you guys to pick. I don't believe in the Dallas Cowboys. I feel like the only people who believe in the Dallas Cowboys are Dallas Cowboy fans who are born Dallas Cowboy fans, possibly born in Dallas. That's it, dude. But the reality is you guys are going to come up short yet again. It's just the reality. And the only thing, if you guys happen to make the Super Bowl this year, it's because of your defense. That's it. It's not going to be because of Dak Prescott winning you the game, winning a big game. That's not going to happen. It's just not. But huge win by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Shout out to my Las Vegas Raiders, a 2-game parlay that hit. And shout out to the Detroit Lions. What a weekend. But the only game that I'm really mad about is you guys already know that the Indianapolis Colts blew a 33-point lead, dude. What the heck is going on? It's the Clowney Cam Show. Let's go!